Hammon! Oh, Hammon! I'm thinking of trying another weapon today. Care to suggest anything? Oh! Oh, I like that. I think I might go for... Great sword? Ah! Wake up, moron! Oh, yes, my fellow hunters. Welcome and hello, because today we talk the weapons. The weapons of Monster Hunter that make our every hunt so truly fun and unique. All 14 shine. But as it turns out, 5 of them shine just a little bit brighter, at least at the moment. Because just revealed is the official Capcom-backed top 5 most played weapons in Rise. At least for the last month or so. And it's quite an interesting bunch. Some you're gonna expect. God, I'm so cool. Look how cool I am. Oh, I'm so much better than all of you. Oh, God, I'm so cool. And some that you won't. So without further ado, let's start at the 5th place weapon. At least assuming it is actually 5th place and not just they happen to display that one 5th in the list of the 5 most played weapons. But, you know, we'll talk about this assuming it is 5-1. And the answer is bow! Oh yes, bow indeed. Now, bow is a little bit broken at the moment, but that's okay, because it's one hell of a fun weapon, and even with it being broken, it's still not the most powerful weapon in the game. That title belongs to something else on this list. So, I can totally vouch for this one. I, for the first time, have properly got into bow. I've always loved it, but I have properly got into it. It is my home weapon away from home. It is my ranged greatsword, baby. It is just an absolute blast, and I have about 6 bow sets now. None of them matter, actually, not a single one, but still, it's a weapon that even when you do your own funky stuff, it still pops, it's still powerful, and it's still exhilarating. I think it requires a little bit too much of you and not enough of the monster. Like, the entire time you're playing bow, it is go, 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 go! You are never stopping, never not dashing, never not firing. It is just 100 all the time, and that is definitely fun, but I think I would find it exhausting if it was my actual main weapon. But that aside, and granted that might just be a symptom of me not having used it as much as I should have yet, though I do think I'm pretty okay. You know, I'll go as far as to say pretty okay. I know, really pushing the boat out there. Look at me, so full of myself. But in any case, that aside, it really is just Next up then is...
And baby, doesn't make me crazy, thinking about you every day, wishing you'd appear.
Oh, I mean, I'm happy that it's here, but I wish that it was higher up, goddammit. Great sword, great sword, great sword. Look, the flagship weapon, a staple of the series. It is synonymous with monster hunting. It is quite simply glorious. I don't need to wax lyrical on my love for this weapon. I think I've made it very, very clear over the years of me constantly going on and on about greatsword, to the point that it's probably become quite obnoxious. But you know what? I don't care, because it's just incredible! The most satisfying weapon, full stop! Nothing beats crashing down on a monster with the highest damage you can do in the game as that monster reels away in pain. You feel mighty, you feel meaty, you feel the third word beginning with M! And that's a feeling you just can't put a price on. No, you can't. There is so many ways to play it in Rise more than ever, and it really is just the most rock weapon, right? It's just always there, always doing exactly what it needs to be, always reliable, always powerful, never too weak. It's just a constant of glorious hunting that you can always fall back on and have a fantastic time. And I also maintain, and honestly this might be one of my biggest reasons that I love Greatsword, is because Greatsword requires you to know the monster much more than you know the weapon. It's a weapon that rewards intimate knowledge of the monster's moveset, arguably more than any other, and that weaved into the slow charge times, you spend a lot of time actually taking in the hunt, looking at the monster, absorbing what it's doing, the environment, where you are, right? You really kind of experience everything, instead of all your focus being zoomed in on the weapon, the buttons you're pressing, maintaining combos or buffs, and I really like it for that. It's almost the all-seeing weapon, though that sounds really pretentious, but the point is, due to the very nature of how Greatsword plays, you take in a lot of the hunt that isn't just specifically what you're pressing, and I really appreciate that. So yeah, good to see Greatsword here where it should be. Always at least the top 5. Then in third place is the Dual Blades. Now this one surprises me because I used to love Dual Blades, and the key word there is used to. But in Rise, I guess I've just not really given them their fair shout. My best Dual Blade, in fact my only Dual Blade set, is using the Feral Dash as damage to kill the monster just by dashing through it and having a bit of poison damage on top. And don't get me wrong, that is really fun, but it's not exactly playing the weapon normally. I really need to actually sit down and give it its due, because I imagine if I did that like I did with Bow, I would fall in love with it again. It's always fun to attack that fast, it's fun to have your anime run, it's fun to dual wield. Everyone likes dual wield. Anything becomes instantly cooler if you have one in each hand. That's just a fact of life, and that applies don't read into that, and that just applies to Monster Hunter all the same. So yeah, and especially the aerial style that you can play with dual blades, that is actually awesome. I've seen it being played and it really does kind of make you want to have a good go with it. And obviously Hellion mode is a lot of fun, 100% affinity, though Sword and Shield kind of stole that thunder pretty quickly with its new weapon. But in any case, I understand why it's here. I personally have not given dual blades enough of a go yet in Rise, but I very much have always liked them previously, so I see no reason why I wouldn't now. Though I feel like their damage output is lower than they've been historically. They're not as up there on the speedrun rankings. Now, it's not the biggest factor here, because you choose the weapon that's the most fun to you. All of them are very definitely competitive, but I do think they've taken a little bit of a hit in Rise, and I wonder if that has actually even affected anything. I guess by them being here, no, it hasn't. Alright, coming in at second place, it was always gonna be here. I'm still so cool. God, I've been here this entire time waiting to counter the monster, and you know what? The entirety of it, I've just been so awesome. I mean, look at me. Oh, I'm so cool. Longsword! Look, I don't have anything against Longsword. Of course I don't. It is, and I will always admit this, the first weapon I picked up. And before I swiftly replaced it with Greatsword and never looked back, but back in Monster Hunter 1, it is what first drew me. Now, this might sound really kinda shallow to say, but I have to admit, one of the reasons that I dislike Longsword the most is I don't like running around with a sheath on my back. I just find it annoying and ugly, and it clips through everything, and I say that as a greatsword, but at least once you've drawn the greatsword, you're good, whereas Longsword, it's always there, and it bugs me. That said, there are quite a few longswords that get rid of that, the Chameleos being having a sheath as part of the blade that uncoils, or the Almudron that's just like a magnet lock. That really alleviates that problem, and I really do dig them, and honestly, I enjoy the longsword playstyle. It is fun to feel this masterful sword, well, master, as you effortlessly glide through monster attacks and cut them down. It just works. It has that fantasy, that very much power fantasy, and makes you feel like an absolute badass at all times. On top of doing ludicrous damage in Rise, the second most powerful weapon by a fair amount is Longsword, and that always really does help. It's very much the weapon that once you master it, you just look unstoppable. powerful, and honestly that's because you kind of are. It's the ultimate dueling weapon, you and the monster never getting hit as you absolutely destroy it. The greatsword tanks the hit, the longsword slices through it, and I guess it really depends which one of those is more appealing to you. So yeah, here we are with the longsword. The winner then, and this is by far the biggest surprise to me, the most played weapon in Rise. Is the monster not dead yet? I've pressed shoot like 15 times now. How is it? Oh, why is it still alive? Oh god. Really a lot to do with this weapon. It's light bowgun! Oh, look, the bowguns have always been monstrously powerful. Well, for the most part, they've spent most of their history being ridiculously good. Heavy bowgun has taken turn as the champion, light bowgun has taken turn as the champion, and currently light bowgun is in the kingly seat, and it absolutely shreds. Something as simple as rapid pierce light bowgun is the most auto-win weapon and build ever. There's a reason most people just have a light bowgun set for pure mindless farming, because it's so powerful for how easy it is to use. Now that said, I don't want to exaggerate. It's not like it is easy to use. It's just relative to how much damage and how quickly it kills monster. Yeah, it's easy to use. I mean, obviously it's a point-and-shoot weapon. The biggest thing about building a good bowgun set is, well, building the set, not actually playing it. Ammo management, of course, comes into it, but most things die before that's really an issue if you're not playing something like Sticky that has low counts to begin with. And in any case, it's just an incredibly versatile weapon. Its switch skills are decent, its silkbinds are decent. It just has so much going for it, with so many viable weapon choices and playstyles, ammo types, and generally no matter what you do, it's probably going to work, and it's probably going to work insanely well. The kill times this thing is getting in speedruns is just... it blows my mind. The gulf between light bowgun's kill times and the weapons on the air quotes weaker end of the spectrum is ridiculous. I don't see it really changing, because we don't really get balance issues addressed unless it's literally bugs. And, you know, that's okay. It's a game versus, well, AI monsters, right? It's not a PvP game. It doesn't matter. Every weapon is viable, powerful in its own right, and every weapon is fun, and every weapon gets the job done. And that's how it should be, and that's always how it, well, is. Monster Hunter is one of the most universally balanced across the boards on both an enjoyment and strength level game I have ever seen, especially with something with 14 choices and so many playstyles within those choices. But the thing that stands out to me is light bowgun really doesn't get first place in popularity often. In fact, to my knowledge, it never has. So it shows you just how powerful it is that people have gone, fuck it, I can't not have a light bowgun set, it's too good, to the point that it's pushed it to the number one spot. Unless, again, I'm reading this incorrectly and it's just here are the 5 most played weapons in no particular order. But even then, a bowgun being in the top 5 is really not the most regular thing. Though then again, heavy bowgun did make it in World and Iceborne, so perhaps not. The point is, however, it is just purely so powerful in Rise, and you know what? Go for it, light bowgun. You have the spotlight for now. I'm sure it will shift as the course of the game shifts. In any case, guys, they are your 5 most played weapons. Are you a main of any one of them? Are you surprised by what's here? Are you sad that yours are not? I certainly do see these weapons the most out in random hunts, but which weapons are kind of forgotten about? I feel like I never, ever see hammer or lance. Just ever. And that's kind of sad. Any case, let me know your thoughts. Like if you enjoyed this, subscribe for more. Please consider supporting the future of the channel on Patreon down below, and I will see you soon. A goodbye.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.